So let's just see here. The docs all set up. Uh, I don't like that it does that. Not doing that. All right. So today we're going to cover some more Python and uh, up. Um, we're going to go over some Python string basics at the start of this video. Let me just pull up my monitor over here. And we'll go into some other things. Okay. All right, so let's open a folder and let's go into documents and we'll go into Python and let's create a folder called string basics. Okay, and we'll select that folder and we'll create a file called strings.py. Let's do that. And the first thing I want to talk about is concatenation. Um, so I'll make a comment and then spell it concatenation. That's how we add two strings together. Sorry, I have everything kind of warming up. It's everything's popping up now. So concatenation. Let me see if I can get this. Yeah, I'm gonna get this like that. And actually, let's just drag this like that and drag this like that. So you can see both if anyone joins in. All right, so concatenation, and then let me tweet something here for a moment, or let everyone know that I'm streaming. I was trying for 7:15 Eastern time. I think it's going to be more like 7:25 to 7:30. So Hootsuite here, and maybe I'll edit this part out for YouTube, and then we're going to post. Um, let's see, covering on string basics on Twitch, and then Twitch TV address. Hey, and copy this, and we'll post that. Okay, all right, and then there's Facebook as well. I'm not much with the social media, but yeah. Okay, there we go, and post that, and close it out. Okay. All right, so let's first talk about concatenation. So let's say we have two string variables. So string one, uh, let's just use S. We'll use S1, and that equals, let's see, that equals we'll start off with a typical example. Hello, and then S2 equals, okay. If I want to concatenate these, so to concatenate, I want to use the plus symbol. Okay? Um, so for instance, if I want to print, um, I can use S1 plus S2. Now, uh, whoops, I actually named these the correct names. Okay, so I can print those, and I'm going to run it, and we get hello world. But if I really want to concatenate this brings up my next point. I want to include a space in between. So a couple ways I can do that. First way, I can just add a space like this, okay, and then I can run this again, like that, and I get the space. Okay, that's the first way I can do it. The second way I can do it is I could create a variable. Spaces count as length in strings, and then instead of this, I could just put 3. Okay? And then I can run this, and um, you'll see that it comes out with "Hello World" with the space. Okay, now that's the basics on concatenation. Um, and let's go take a look. Length of a string. That's another thing I'd like to take a look at here. Um, so if we want to take a look at length of a string, we can take those strings above and we can use this length uh, method and pass in the length of the string. Okay. And now if I run this, I'm going to get the length of the string, which is 5, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 uh, characters in the string. Okay. All right. And now, if I take S3, if I print the length of S3, if I go do that, now if I run this, I do um, run this, I get 1. So the spaces, they do count in the length of the string. That's the point I want to get across with that. Um, so that's how you determine the length of the string with the length function. The index of a string is the next thing I want to talk to. So we talked. Let me make a comment here. We talked about length of the string, and whether you're watching this on YouTube or watching it on Twitch, uh, I'm just starting on Twitch, so I know I've got not many viewers, no one right now, but uh, if you're just watching this on YouTube, let me know, like, is it valuable if I put this source code, say, up on GitHub on this lesson that I'm covering? Because what we're going to do in the agenda, again, is going to be an hour of, well, maybe an hour of this, and then um, what we're going to do is then do create some math worksheets with Python, and I'll go through the process of that. I'm thinking today probably we did divisibility rules just by 3. I think we should do 1 with other divisibility rules, and then we'll start into some other concepts that I have pulled up on. I have my list on here on Notepad++. Okay, so let's talk about index of a string. So we talked about length of a string. Let's talk about index of a string. For that, so if I want to find the index of a string, let me type print. We'll start with 0. And well, what do you think this should give us? Would it give us a character? Let's run it. So if we run it, we're going to see that we're going to get H. Okay, so the index of the string, the whole point with that is the index of the string starts at 0. Computers read from 0, not 1, 0 on. Okay, so this is actually character 4, even though it's length 5. Okay, so we make a little comment here so you can tell what I'm talking about. So this is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the index of the string. Okay. All right. So, and again, every space in the character counts. So let's make another string here just to re-illustrate this point. We'll do hello world. And now if I print S4 at 5, oh, what should I get? I'm going to get, let's see if it shows it. Okay, so we have this blank. So it's actually printing this space, okay? And again, the reason for that being with the string is that we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is the actual space, okay? All right, so that's index of a string. Okay, so let's talk about um, let's say x equals, I don't want to run that, sorry. X equals space here, and then let me try print x in S, string was it 4? Okay, now when I run this, I'm going to get true. Okay, why is that? So this, what this is saying is this variable, which is the space, is this space in the string 4? Now, if we changed x to say something like t, which is not in hello world, now if we run it, we're going to get false, okay, because it's not in that string, okay? So that's one of the things you can do in Python. You can also say not in, and then now if I run it, I should get true, okay? So I get true here. Um, so that's a cool little thing you can do with strings. All right, let's do another thing here. Let's print um, S4 times 5. Okay, so what do you think we're going to get? So if we print it, we get hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. Now, you notice they're kind of like smashing together. The reason is because there's no spacing at the end. So if I wanted to fix that, I could do just change it to that. And now if I run it, I'm going to get 5 hello worlds, right? So you can use the multiplication symbol to print out the string multiple times. Okay. That's a cool little concept. Where we get the index, let's print a slice. So let's print S4 from 0 to 4. Okay, and in this case, we should get just hello. Oh, no, sorry. We have to put the number higher. So I'd actually put 5. Hello. There we go. Now we've got hello. Reason being is it prints out the index up to, but not including the last number. So it prints out 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's called a slice. So comment. We'll just say slice below. Okay. Okay. We can also do a slice with a step. So if we print S4 from the square braces from 0 to 5 and then give it a step of 2, um, this is going to print out something different. And I'll explain. So we have HLO. Why do we have that? Because it's printing out every second one. Okay, so it's printing H, and it's skipping E, and it's printing L, and it's skipping the next L, and it's printing O. Okay, so that's a slice with steps. Okay, we can also look for or print the lowest character of a string. If I print min of, say, S4 and run this, I want to debug, I just want to run. Uh, so the lowest character is going to be that space. Let me try a different string, actually. Let's do that. Let's do S1. Okay. So it's going to be the H, capital H. Let me try something different, actually. My brain is not firing yet. E. Okay. Yeah. So the uppercase is um, treated a little differently. It's case sensitive, but uh, uppercases have lower ASCII numbers, so I think that's why I was printing H instead of E. But so it'll print the E here. Now, likewise, if I want to print the highest character in a string, I can print the max. And so let's do S1 again. And let's run. Okay. And we get O because we in hello, O is further down the alphabet. All right. Um, Again, we'll get to that ASCII character stuff in a moment. Okay, so we can also do find the position of a character in a string. So let's print we'll do S1 and then character E, and we'll run that. Should get one. Oh, we got an error. Oh, sorry, I did this the way. My bad. Mm, brain is fried. I have not had enough coffee yet. Sorry. Let's try this again. One. Okay. So yeah, I had to use the index keyword. Sorry, I am not awake yet. It's 5:42 Mountain Standard Time. So that's where we can find the index of a string. We can also take a look, like if we change the string to hello, I don't know, hello. So this is what from say 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's do 5 to 9. We can also do we can also indicate. So if I hover over this, let me try that again. Let me do that. So we can have the start index and the end index of where to search. And now if I run this, it's giving me 6. Why is it giving me 6? Well, if I go up here, I'm really doing the start. I specified the start at 5. Then I have an E at 6. That's why it's giving me 6. And 7, 8, 9 is the end point to look. Okay. If I change this from, say, 0 to 9, I'm going to get 1 again. Okay. It's going to give me that first position, right? So it gives me 1. Okay. So I can specify what index to start at and what index to end at. And again, if I just change it to 5, it's going to give me 6. It's going to give me the first one that comes after that. So I get 6. Okay, so that's a cool little thing that you can do. Okay, we can also count. So we can count the number of times a character appears in a string. So if I print s1 dot count and then pass in e, and then I run, we're going to get 2 because e appears twice, because remember I changed the string to hello, hello. Okay, so it appears twice in that string. Okay. Oh, ASCII numbers. Okay, so like I was talking about was ASCII numbers. ASCII stands for, I have in my notes, the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, so if I want to, let's say, find the ASCII number, I can use this ORD, and if I print X, I should get back um, 120, I believe. Yeah, 120. So that's the ASCII number for X. Now, it's case sensitive, and uppercase has lower ASCII numbers. So if I print that, now I get 88 when it's uppercase X. Okay, so you can fool around with this. If I want to do A, where's A? If I print that, that's 97. If I print uppercase A, um, 65. Remember, we printed the space. We had the space was the lowest. That's 32. Okay, so that's that's why that space appeared first early in the video. So that's how you get the ASCII number of a particular symbol. Um, so yeah. So let's try another symbol here and run it 94 for that particular symbol. Okay. Let's try a number 57. Okay. So we can get the ASCII number of each. I have some trailing white space there. That's why it's going to be an issue. Okay. That's how to find the ASCII number of a character. We can capitalize the first letter of a string. So remember, I changed this to hello, hello. So let's print S1 dot capitalize, and let's run that. Uh, I forgot something. I haven't had my coffee. It's a method. So now it capitalized that first letter. Likewise, I think we can use a method called, let's see, title, and that'll capitalize both words. So let's run that. So now you see it capitalized H and E. Okay. All right. What else do we have? I want to cover. Okay. We did. Okay. We can also check if it's only letters. And what we can do there is we can print and do a string and then do something like is alpha for our method. And then let's run that. And we say false. Why false? Well, let's think about it. So that's false right now. But it seems like it's all letters. Let's run it again. True. Okay. So now it's true because the space isn't a, if I ran it again, here, now I'm going to get false again because the space is not a letter, right? So that's a cool little check. And then we can check if it's only numbers. Um, so is numeric. Um, See, VS Code is suggesting what I should use. Um, this is a Boolean. It'll return a Boolean, either true or false. This should be false, okay, because, right? But if let's make another string. What do we have? S1 through S4. Let's make another string S5 and make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's do this S5 and run. Get true because it's numeric. Okay. So that's another cool little check. So you could potentially do a conditional statement if you're checking someone entered some numeric number and you want to change it to a string, and you do stuff like that. Coding. So that's a cool little one. Okay, you can check the case of the string. So let's take S1 and we'll do is lower, the is lower method, and print that. And we get true because if we scroll on up, S1 is all lowercase. Okay. Likewise, let's do print S1 is upper. We should get false. And we get false. So you can check case sensitivity. You can check if it's written like a title. So this one should be is false, or it should be false. And then I'll run it so that we get true later. but it's going to be false. So it's false, right? But now if I go up here and I do this, the last one, when I run it, is going to be, should be true. No, we got an error. Line 40. What do we do in line 40? Um, oh, it's returning an error. Why is it returning an error? Because there is no e lowercase between 5 and 9. If I change that, I should get rid of that. So if I now go for the whole string, yeah, it changes. And I've changed this to true because now it's title case. Okay. Yeah. So this one here, the index, it will return an error. Let me do, instead of index, let's do find. And I think this will run without an error. Yeah. So if you don't want an error, find an index is another way to do that. Um, and it's just giving me back a -1 here, which means it's not in the actual string from index 5 to index 9. So it gives me the -1 as a result. So that's a cool little concept about strings. There's a bunch here. Can replace. Uh, so let's print s1 dot replace, and we'll replace let's replace e with a, and let's run, and we got hallow lo. So hallow. So we replaced the e with the a. So that's a cool one. That's kind of fun. Okay, so um, let's change string one a little bit. Let's give it a leading and a trailing space. And let's just print S1. And that's just basic, right? And you see that S1 is moved over. It moved it over everywhere. They're printing that. But if I want to get rid of leading and trailing white space, I can print S1 and use the, not the starts with, the strip method. And if I go ahead and do that, now you see it stripped the leading and trailing. You can't really see the trailing white space, but it did strip the leading white space. You can see that very clearly. So that's a cool little function. Okay, let's go back up and yeah, so we got the capitals there, and let's do um, change case of letters. So let's print the S1 string and use the swap case method. And and now you see that looks interesting, right? So we have this lowercase h, everything else is uppercase in the first word, lowercase e, everything is uppercase in the second word. So it changed the case of all the letters or the characters in the string. Okay, and then instead of is upper, we can just print s1 dot upper, and that's going to make everything uppercase. So we print that. You'll see that now everything's uppercase in the string. Okay? Likewise, I think we can do dot lower that method, and this should return um, everything as lowercase in the string. Okay, so that's the cool methods there. And cover anything else with strings. Yeah, there's a couple other ones. I think that's going to be it for strings. So it's actually a little less than an hour. Now we'll work on worksheets. So that was my little spiel on strings. So let me now open a different folder. And I want to create a folder called prime factorization, or no, we're not doing prime factorization. Sorry. I'm going to create a folder called divisibility rules. So let's add a new folder. Let's call it divisibility rules. And let's select that folder. And for this one, we're going to basically create a worksheet where students have 100 problems and they have to tell what it's divisible by. Is it divisible by 2? Is it divisible by 3? We did just 3 yesterday. Is it divisible by 4? Is it divisible by um, 5? Is it divisible by 6? Is it divisible by 7? Okay, so let's actually create a main.py here. And let's make some comments here. So it's divisible by 2 if it's even. It's divisible by 3 if the uh, digits add to a number divisible by 3. It's divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits of the number are divisible by 4. It's divisible, that should be 4, divisible by 5 if it ends in a 0 or 5 and is not, 0. Um, okay, so it's divisible by 6 if it's divisible by 2 and 3. Let's look up our 7. So we'll do divisible by 7 rule. Uh, yeah. Um, Formula, let's see. Okay. Add the last 2 digits to twice the rest. So um, double the last digit and subtract it from the digits left. Uh, okay, so 98, so 16. Yeah, that makes sense because the 9 minus 16 is negative 7. Negative 7 is divisible by 7. 49, 18. 4 minus 18 is negative 14, which is divisible by 7. Okay, that's a cool little rule. So um, let's say add the last, or multiply the last digit by 2. Um, and then subtract from the rest of the digits. Okay, and then divisible by 8. What we're going to do is if it's divisible by 2 and 4. No, actually, 2 and 4 twice. If it's divisible by, well, 2 3 times. Let's just say that. If it's divisible by 2 3 times, then it's divisible by 8. Okay. Divisible by 9. If it's divisible, I'm spelling this wrong, by, another I here. It's divisible by 3 twice. Okay, and then we'll stop at 10. So divisible by 10 if it ends in a 0 and is not 0. Okay, so we're starting at 1 for our number. So yeah, this should be good. All right, so I'm going to import, or I'm going to say, sorry, from lists, import list, a list class, and then we'll say from divisibles. It's giving me an error because I haven't created this yet. Import divisible. I'm not very uh, good with my class naming, but anyways. So I'm going to import a module called OS and import a module called sys. I'm going to import a module called random, and I'm going to say sys.append path. Okay, that'll allow me to bring in the files. Now I'm going to go over here. Let's create some files. So let's create lists.py, and let's also create divisibles.py. Okay, and you'll see that the errors now are going away. All right, so with list.py, I'm just going to create a class called list, and I'm going to have a method called random list, and then I'm going to have a random number list that is just open, and I'm going to say for x in range from, let's do 1 to 501. So we'll do 1 to 500, and we're going to take the random number list and append x. Okay, and then we're going to return the random number list. So what that's going to do is that is going to basically give us a list in Python. It's going to run through this for loop, and it's going to put numbers in 1 through 500 in this list. So we're creating this so we can use this list with the random module. We're going to use random.choice, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick numbers from that list, and the students will have to take one of those numbers and say if it's what it is divisible by. Okay. Um, okay. So now we're going to create a class called divisible, and we're going to instantiate the class, and it's going to get passed in some random number that comes out of this. And to use that, we're going to say self.random number is random number. Okay, and now we're going to have some methods here where we check if it's divisible by 2. Okay, so we'll check. And the way we're just going to do that, we'll say div2 equals false. We'll start off with these variables as false. And we'll say something like if self.random number modulo 2, if that equals 0, well, then div2 is going to equal true. And then we'll return div2. Okay, and we'll also have a function is div3, and we're going to do the same thing for all these numbers. So we're going to say div3 equals false if self dot random number modulo gives the remainder. If that remainder is 0, then it's divisible by 0. So we're not having to actually use the divisibility rules when we're actually creating this program. Say true, and then we'll return div3. Okay, and then we'll say is div4, and we'll say div4 equals false. So we're starting with these not being true. And then if self dot random number modulo 4, if that equals 0, then we'll say div4 equals true, and we'll return div4. Okay, and then is div5 self, and we'll say div5 equals false, and we'll say if self dot random number modulo 5, if that equals 0, then div5 is going to equal true. Okay, and return div5. Okay, and then we'll say is div6. We're doing the same thing all the way up through 10, so it's a little repetitive. There's maybe a better way to do this. If you think there is and you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment, comments below. That'd be cool. All right. So if the modulo of that in 6 is 0, we're going to say div6 equals true. So these are a Boolean, true, false Boolean. And we're going to return div6, and then have is div7, that's in itself, and then we'll say div7 equals false, and if self dot random number modulo 7, if that equals 0, then we're going to say div7 equals true, and return div7. Got a few more to go. I'm going to say is div8 itself, div8 equals false, and then we'll say if self dot random number modulo 8, if that equals 0, div8 is going to equal true, and then we'll return div8. Okay, and then is div9, as in self, and we'll say div9 equals false, and if self dot random number modulo 9 equals 0, then we'll say div9 equals true, and we got one more after this. Return div9, and then we'll say div is div10, last one, and say div10 equals false, and then if self dot random number modulo 10, if that equals 0, then div10 equals true. Okay, true. And then we'll return div10. Okay, so we got all those. And now we've got to come up with a solution string. So Yeah, that's going to be maybe an issue. So we'll have solution string, pass in the self, and we'll say if self dot div one. So if that's true, um, how would I now? I got to think about how I would do this such that we're not with this overly complicated statement. So yeah, okay, we're going to concatenate. Let's do that. So we'll say solution string equals an empty string, and if this is true, we'll say um, that we'll take solution string and we'll add um, something like the number is divisible by two because we start with two. Sorry, we don't. I think we don't have a div one. Right? Yeah, yeah. Everything's gonna be divisible by one. Uh, all right. So and then if self dot. So we'll have to do a few of these. Solution string, and actually number is divisible by two. Um, so concatenate that. We'll say else. Okay. And that's how I'm going to do it. It might not be the best way. If you think of a better way, let me know. Comment the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. So let's say the number is divisible by 3. Okay. Uh, yeah, no. Um, we may have to modify this. We'll play with it. Um, okay. All right. So I'm going to do these for each of these. Got that something vibrating in the background. Uh, so we're just going to do this for a few more. This is going to give a long solution string. But it's okay. sure there's probably a way I could do this with a case rule, but okay, almost done. And actually, the last one, uh, you don't need the space. Okay, and then at the end of this, we're going to return the solution string. One issue. It's giving me some white space issue here. Um, so let's take a look. So we've got that. We've got that. Now we got to go and create our file. So let's call it divisibility file. Create one for the solution file and one for the Spanish file. And yeah, okay. So we'll start with rand equal list. The reason I'm doing that is uh, I'm I'm creating an object that has this list class called rand, and then I'm going to use that to create the random number. So I'm going to say for problem in range from 1 to 101 because I want 100 problems. I'm going to say random number equals random dot choice. That's why we included that random module. Rand, that rand object, and the random list method, and that's going to give me a random number from 1 to 500. And now I can create an object called new problem, which is a divisible, um, uses the divisible class and passes in that random number. And I can use that and start to use that to figure things out. All right, so now I'm going to write to these files. So I'm going to take this divisibility file and I'm going to write an F string. I'm going to say problem. Let's do this. We're doing this to Markdown, so let's do it as an H2, which is the two hashtags, and it'll give me an H2 when I convert it to HTML. And then we're going to pass in the problem variable and then do an escape character and end to bring down to the next line, another escape character and end to bring down to the next line. I'm going to do this for the other two files as well. With the Spanish file, I'm just going to write problema, so I'm going to add an A there. That's it. And okay, so that's going to number the problems. It's not defined. Now it is. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to take this file and I'm going to write another f string and say is, or what numbers from 2 through 10 is, and then create another line. Don't need an f string for this. We need an f string for this one. Is, pass in a random number, divisible by. Okay, and we'll do a slash n for an escape and break it down to the next line, and then another slash n. Okay. I'm going to do this for the Spanish file. What numbers from 2 through 10 is, so we need to go and take a look for the English to Spanish and paste this in. Okay, now sometimes I'm having a little issue with some of the formatting. So when I paste this in, I'm just going to change this to without the accent uh, and without the question mark there. Um, okay, and I want a space here. And then I take this file again, and we're going to write. Uh, now we're going to have an f string and random number, and visible by. So we have to go here. Copy that, and I don't want the uppercase. Lowercase, and then question. You're supposed to have, in Spanish, you're supposed to have the upside down question here, but the formatting, I'm not able to get it to work right yet on Windows. It seems to work on my Linux machines for some odd reason. So maybe I should be doing these on my Linux machines, but all right. So now we've got that written. Now we want to take the solution file and we want to write an f string with the solution, and we're going to pass in the new problem and use the solution string method. And then we're also going to have a /n/n to move down to the next line. Now, for formatting here, um, like the double escape character with the n, that brings it down, that creates like a space in between the lines. But Markdown, when you convert it to HTML, you have to write the HTML break tags in, I'm finding, to get it to like a line break tag to actually get some more spacing, which is what I want in between my problems. So I'm going to write just 3 break tags here for each of those files. So I'm going to just copy this line and use this for the Spanish file and for the solution file. Space that out just a little bit. I'm going to go outside of the method here. And now I'm going to take this file and close it. And I'm going to close those other 2 files as well. Okay. And so there's no white space issues here. Let's see. This is just PEP 8 stuff. There we go. Okay. That's all I needed to do. It was just telling me white space. It's like a formatting thing. It wouldn't affect how the file runs. Um, Let's run this file, see if hopefully we won't get any errors. Uh, hmm, mhm. All right, did it create in? No, it did not. Okay, let me check that. Ah, okay. So, yeah, I want to get rid of the markdown. So hold on one second. There's one thing. There is an error that I made. Um, let me just, all of these, uh, where I went to my if statements, these are methods, so I have to have opening and closing parentheses here. So I'm gonna just multi-line edit this. That should fix that problem. Okay, so okay, it's still telling me I have no object. I have to have self done there too. Okay, so again, let's just delete that. I think there's going to be another issue here. Yeah, there's one markdown file popping up. Um, uh, yeah, these are all is. Okay, so that's another thing I messed up. So do another multi-line edit here. Okay, now let's run and see. Okay, so that fixed all those issues. So let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so this is 8, 10. So this isn't divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 2. So it's not divisible by 6. It's not divisible by 5 or 4. Let's see, double this 6 from 25. It's 19, not divisible by 7. So on our solution, let's see what we get. Get nothing. Okay, so that's new problem dot solution string. Problem is the divisibility. Probably because we're not returning the solution string. We are. Uh, let's rename this. Ah, okay. So Uh, Another logic error. I'm going to have to go here. Uh, so I'm going to say solution string equals solution string plus. Yeah, obviously it's just going to return nothing. So solution string equals solution string plus this. Okay. Um, and here, solution string equals solution string plus this. Um, okay. All right, so we got all those. Should be okay there. And um, that should be okay. Let me just pull up Commander here. What did I call this file? It was Divisibility Rules. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's not working in the VS Code terminal, but the other one, it's working. So it's taking these out. Okay. Now let's run it again. Okay. So let's take a look. So what numbers from 2 through 10 is 283 divisible by? So that's not divisible by 3 because it adds to 13, not divisible by 2 or 4 or 5 or 6. Let's do 6, not divisible by 7, 8. So it shouldn't be divisible by, I don't think anything. From 2 through 10. So, okay. So yeah, so this is giving you all the solutions. But there is a formatting issue here. Because after these breaks, so I have to add another slash, escape character and an N and escape character and N, so I can bring this down. Okay, we're getting there though. So now I'm just going to remove all the markdown files again and just close that out. And then that's the one thing I got to do. And I think I'll be all set. So we'll do /n/n. And now let's run it. And it ran. Okay. And let's just check our. Okay. So what numbers from 2 through 10 is 459 divisible by? Um, okay. So 459, if we have those numbers, we get 18. 18 is divisible by 3. So it's divisible by 3. Um, and if we divide it by 3, let's see, what are we going to get? We're going to get 1, 5, 3. And we can divide that number by 3. So it should be divisible by 3 and 9, not divisible by 2, not divisible by 4, not divisible by 5 or 6. 18 from 45 is 27, not divisible by 7, not divisible by 8. So it should be 3 and 9, and that's it. Let's check our solutions. Is divisible by 3. The number is divisible by 9, not divisible by 10, not by 6, not by 5, um, not by 8. Okay. Yeah, this seems to be working. Let's take a look at the Spanish version. Okay, seems to have come out all right. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back up Commander and we're going to run markdown -it Actually, let's list out the files. It makes it easier. We'll run, okay, now we'll run markdown, type correctly, .it, and divisibility .markdown. We want to output divisibility .html. Okay, and we also want to do divisibility solution .markdown, and we'll output .html. And then we also want to do and we want to output .html. We want to spell this correctly. Okay. So now we've got those files created. So let's open the regular one.html. Okay, and let's go here and create the Emmet abbreviation, and we'll exit this out, and I'm going to go down to the bottom, page down button, and I'll go back up to the top. So I just pasted the closing body tag and the closing HTML tag there. We're going to call this 100 divisibility rules problems, and I'm not going to post this on the web, at least for now, so I don't have to put a description, any of that stuff. I just want to have a little bit of style here. I want to have a body where the margin left is 0.75 inches and the margin right is also 0.75 inches. And I'm going to have the H2 heading and the paragraph. I'm going to have them have a font size of 1.2 rem. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to have the paragraph have a font size of 1.2 rem. We'll make the heading have a little bit larger font size. Let's say 1.4 rem. Okay, so now I'm going to page down to the bottom here and just go and basically go to the end here and have a paragraph with style equal to text line center, and we'll put in the copyright information. So copyright, copy 2021, Timothy Unkert, all rights reserved. If you see me do this on my worksheets, I do this a bunch of times. So, all right, and let's right click and format the document. Okay, and we've got it formatted. Let's do Control C here and then open up the Spanish one. Go here and page down to the bottom. Paste in my copyright, and let's also open the solution one and go and, oh, that's not the HTML. Here we go. Go to this one, page on down to the bottom, put in my copyright information. Okay, page back up to the top. Put in Emmet abbreviation there. Cut that, page down to the bottom, paste it, page back up to the top. So give this title of 100 visibility problem solutions, because that's what it's going to print. Again, we want that style, the body, we'll have a margin left of 0.75 inches and a margin right of the same amount. The H2 will have a font size of 1.4 rem, and the paragraph will have a font size of 1.2 rem. Okay, and let's just format this document. Yeah, I should just be doing Shift Alt F. Try not to use the mouse. Okay, so that one is all set. Back up to the Spanish one. Let's page up to the top. An abbreviation to get the little framework. Cut this page down to the bottom, paste it, page back up to the top. Cut that line. This is going to be 100 divisibility problems, Spanish version. Okay, and then we'll also have a style, and within the style, we're going to have body again. So margin left 0.75 inches, margin right 0.75 inches. So that's kind of like a Microsoft Word document. H2 font size. You can do this in pixels as well, but I'm going to do 1.4 rem. And paragraph, the font size 1.2 rem. Okay, and then let's format this document here. Okay, so we got those all created. Let's take a look. Open up our files folder here, and we'll go to documents, and then into Python. And the divisibility rules, you see yesterday I did divisibility rules by 3. So let's open one of these. And okay, one more thing I've got to do with this. So you notice we have the worksheet. It's looking all good. There is a little issue here, and that is that I do want to have basically the students be able to put their name. So I'm going to do a little pre-formatted text here, and I'm going to say name, and then like the date. But this is the Spanish version, so it actually should be nombre. We'll tab over here. It should be fecha. And then maestra. And then periodo. Period. And let's see. Let's open up the Spanish version and see just how that is. Looks okay. Just put one more here, and then I'll do another 2 tabs and refresh. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. Okay, so now what I want to do is right click and print, and then you're going to see, yeah, that comes out pretty good. You want to, when you're doing this, if you're trying to follow along, you want to make sure the headers and footers are off. And we'll go on down. And yeah, problem 100 kind of jumps to the next page. You know, it is what it is. That's 100 problems. So I'm going to save this as, let's go to Python. So divisibility rules. We'll create a new folder. We'll call this 100 divisibility rules problems. And yeah, let's put in here rules. I should have put that in the title, but you can just put it there. All right, and then I'll click save save that one. So now I'm also going to do the name thing with uh, the English version. So let's have some pre-formatted text, name, and date, and then teacher, and period. Okay, and now let's just refresh this one. Okay, so I want a couple more for the name. So let's do 1, 2, and add a space in there. Refresh. Maybe one more. Take care of it. Refresh. That's looking pretty good, except maybe we have another tab and refresh. Okay, so now we'll print this one. And yep. Okay, so yeah. All right, so we're going to save this. Uh, we'll just maybe make note that this is the English version. Okay, so let's save. Okay. Um, let's see how my battery's doing here. 39. Still pretty good. Okay, and then we also want to open the solution file, and we're just going to right click and print. Okay, and we'll save. Uh, Save that. Okay, so now if I go here, I'm going to right click and compress to a zip file. That one I'll put up on Teacher Pay Teachers later today. So that one is done. Awesome. Okay. Um, all right. So let's go back to Python here. I'm going to probably create another folder. Let's see. So we've done a lot of divisibility rules, multiplicative inverse, done the Python tutorial on strings today. We'll do another tutorial tomorrow. Least common multiple. Um, we're going to do that one, might be a bit harder. Uh, Factorials, though, I think, it's 6:50. If I got maybe a half an hour, I can maybe stream till 7:15 that I can run till. So maybe let's try the Factorials one. Um, so I am going to create a new folder. We'll call this Factorials. And then let's close this out so I don't get too much stuff in my way. Um, I'm going to now let's close these files. So let's close this. Let's close this, close this, close that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to now close that folder. Okay. And then let's reopen another folder. So we'll do Control K, Control O. Like my keyboard shortcuts, try not to use the mouse. It's a little bit faster and it's better on your wrist, in my opinion. You don't have to listen to what I have to say because you might be like, I love the mouse. And more power to you. But anyways, all right. So I'm going to create a main.py. Following our basically our format, a lists.py and a factorials.py. Okay, so let's start with our main.py. Now, factorial, just for you to remember, like 3 factorial, that equals 3 times 2 times 1, which equals 6, right? So 4 factorial equals 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So that's basically 24. Uh, or 5 factorial equals 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which equals 120. Okay, so that's factorials for you. Um, so what we want to do is we want to say from lists, import list. We're going to do that. From factorials, I'm just going to call the class factorial. And then we want to import some modules. So I'm going to import OS. I'm going to import sys, and I'm going to import random. And then I'm going to say sys.path.append. And then, okay. So now we're kind of set to go with that. Rand, we're going to create an object called rand. It's going to use the list class. Then we'll create a factorials file, and we're going to open, we'll just call it factorials markdown, and we're going to append to that, and then we'll also do a solution file and a Spanish file. Okay, and all right, and then so we got those going. Um, Now let's create our list. So our list, so we're going to have 100 problems. We want different um, numbers, but we don't want to make it too hard, because if you're going up above 20 for factorials, you're multiplying a ton of numbers together. Even 20 is a lot. Um, but obviously, maybe what we want to do is have like the first 50 problems. We want to do, let's do the first 20 problems, have them just calculate factorials. Then the next 20 have them add 2 factorials together. And then the next 20 have them subtract. The next 20 have them multiply 2 factorials together. And then the next 20 have them divide factorials. Okay. So yeah, that'll be cool. So we'll say class list, and then we'll create a method called random list again, and then we'll say for x in range from 1 to 21. So we may get some of the same problems because we're not necessarily going to get all the same. Let's do 31. Make it hard. uh, uh, and then so we'll have random number list equal an open list here, and we'll say for x in range, no, we just did that. We'll take the random number list and we'll append x. Okay, and then we're going to return the random number list. And we're good with that file. Okay, so now for the factorials, this is going to be a little bit more complicated. So we're going to create a class called factorials, and we're going to instantiate it. Again, they're going to just pass in self and some random number. And we'll say self.random number equals random number. And then, okay, so then for the first 20, we're just going to figure out what factorial value is. So we'll say factorial value, we'll pass in the self, and we'll say fact value is going to be um, our factorial value. So um, Python, let's see, factorial, there is a method for this. So it's factorial, okay? Um, so I think I probably put, yeah, I just want to use the method, um, math.factorial. Okay, so we have to import the math module, okay? So I'm going to go up here and import math, okay? And we'll say math.factorial, and we'll pass in self dot random number, right? And what am I doing? I'm adding a zero there. Pressing the wrong buttons. I probably need more coffee. Okay, and then we'll return the fact value. Okay. Uh, okay. That's a little Pepe standard there that's giving me that warning. It's called Pi code style in VS Code. Okay, so that's the first 20. Uh, oh, and we have to have random number one and random number two because we're going to add them, we're going to subtract them. Okay, so random. Okay, so we'll just make this one, and then, ooh, what just happened? Let's undo that. Okay, and pressing Control instead of Alt. When I use Atom, it has Control as the to duplicate. And this is going to be number one. Okay. All right. So now we're going to have, let's have a function called factorial sum, as in itself, and we'll say fac sum equals math dot factorial self dot random number one plus math dot factorial self dot random number two. Line is too long. There. All right, there we go. Return the fac sum. Okay. All right. We're also going to have the factorial difference and pass in the self. And we'll say that fac diff equals math dot factorial self dot random number one minus math dot factorial self dot random number, and we'll return the fac diff. Okay, we're going to have factorial product, and as in itself, we'll say fac prod equals math dot factorial self dot random number one times math dot factorial self dot random number two, and we'll return the fac prod. Okay, and then last one we'll have the factorial quotient as in itself, and we'll say fac quote for quotient equals math dot factorial self dot random number one um, divided by math dot factorial self dot random number. Then we'll return the fac quotient. Okay. Um, all right. And that's it for that. Okay, somewhere I have some white space. Oh yeah, right there. Or not. Ah, there we go. Okay, that's a PEP 8 standards giving me, hey, there's some styling here. All right, loving the coffee, loving the coffee. So now I'm going to say for problem in range 1 to 21, because we want the first 20 problems. We're going to have a new problem. This might not be the best way to do it, but let's just do it that way. Equals factorial, uh, and we'll pass in random number one, and actually we're going to have to create random number one and random number two. So we're going to say random number one equals random.choice, and we'll use the rand method, and then the random list, or we'll use the rand object and then the random list method, and we're going to do one and two. Okay, and we're going to have to pass in random number two here. Okay, and we're going to take our file. So we're going to take our factorials file. We're going to write an F string. We'll start with our writing these to markdown. So second level heading, we'll do problem, pass in the problem number, and then escape character, go down to the new line, escape character, go down to the new line. We're going to do copy this, and we'll have for the solution file and the Spanish file, we'll have problema, and that'll start it. Okay. Then we're going to have our factorials file. We're going to write, let's do an F string, and let's say, what is, let's do random number one, and do an exclamation point. What is that? Okay. And then slash in, slash n. I'm going to copy this for the Spanish file. I'll do KS. Then the solution file, we're going to do the solution file. And we're going to write down 22%. Let's charge this up. Okay. For the solution file, what we're going to write is uh, an F string, and we'll say the solution, and we'll pass in the new problem, and we're going to choose the method which is factorial value. Okay, dot factorial uh, value. Okay. Right. All right. And also at the end of this, I want some formatting. Okay. So that's our first for loop. So we'll say we'll do another problem in range, this time 20, no, it's going to be 21 to 41. We'll say random uh, 1 equals random choice and random list. Okay. And we'll do this for random number 1, random number 2. And we're going to say new problem equals a factorial with random number 1 and random number 2. And then we're going to take our factorials file and write an F string, 2 hashtags there, problem, and then the problem number with a /n/n. Do this for both the solution file and the Spanish file. And now we have to write out the problem. So we're going to say factorials file dot write, and we're going to do an F string, and we're going to say what is, as in random number 1 factorial plus, I don't want these lines to get too long, factorials file dot write, another F string, okay, and we'll do a /n/n. Then I'm going to copy this and go here, and we'll do this for the Spanish file. Okay, and all right, and instead of what is, we're going to do case. Okay, and then for the solutions file, we're going to take the factorials file solution, and we're going to write F string. We'll do solution, pass in the new problem dot is the method, the factorial sum method. So factorial sum method, and we'll also do a /n/n there. And okay, that one will be good. And now we're going to do for problem in range. Now we're going to do 41 to 61. So that's problems 41 to 60. We're going to say, let's just copy these lines here. And actually copy this line. And then actually copy these lines. Actually, let's copy pretty much all of this. And we're just going to modify a few things. Okay, so problem number stays the same. Instead of plus, we're going to go here and put minus, and we're going to have factorial difference here. Okay. Uh, okay. All right. So next one for problem in range 61 to 81. Okay. Let's just copy this, and then we'll modify it as need be. Um, this time we're doing multiplication. Okay, and then copy this. Now, it's not really good to just be copying like this, but just in the interest of time, it's done. So, okay, into this. We're going to take all our files and close them. Okay. We've got three issues. What's the issue here? Line too long. This one's probably line too long. And line too long. I'm just going to run with it. That's, I could format it to get a little bit better. Like you could. All right, let's do PEP 8 standards. Let's do solution, and then let's go solution here, and let's format this nicely. Um, and we'll say factorials solution dot right. Uh, F string. Okay, so that now we're down to two errors there. Let's fix this one as well. Okay, down to one error in formatting. This is not that the program won't run. This is a formatting thing for PEP 8 standards. So, but it's probably good practice to try and make it all. Right, so now, okay, so now all the lines aren't too long, so everything's good there. All right, let's run it and we'll see. I did this fast, and we've got an error in line 5. What did I do? Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, that's why it wasn't giving me this auto completion. I was wondering about that a little bit. Uh, yeah, you got to be careful with your naming. So now let's try it. Okay, so now it ran. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that as I was going through. A lot of times, so what I was wondering about is when you do like new problem dot the method should come up, but because I set new problem equal to factorial, and because I had originally named this factorials, it wasn't auto completing for me. So that was something that didn't necessarily show up as an error, but it's a thing you can notice with VS Code when you do this. Okay, so let's take a look at factorials.markdown. So what is 18 factorial? Um, So let's just figure that out real quick. That's a big number. Um, yeah, yeah. Excuse me. I may redo this worksheet because we get some big numbers quick. So I mean, it's the correct value. I'll maybe classify this, put this up as hard factorials. Um, yeah, because these numbers are huge, right? Um, but maybe that's good because it'll illustrate how big these numbers can get. Look at that. Wow. Um, yeah, let's take a look at the Spanish version. So that all looks good. Um, so I'm going to go, let's just create these worksheets and then we'll call it a day. I keep hitting the wrong thing. I'm going to see backwards and then we're going to go into Factorials and list out the files. And we want to use Markdown -it factorials.markdown. We're going to output factorials.html and we're going to run that. Then we're going to run markdown-it factorials-solution. We're going to output factorials-solution.html. And we're also going to do markdown-it factorials dash the Spanish file. We're going to output factorials dash span.html. Okay, and pretty much good with that. Let's close all this stuff out and let's modify our HTML files as necessary. So let's go to this one. And all right, so I'm going to do a little emit here, abbreviation. We'll chop this off, page down, bottom, paste it, put in my copyright stuff. I like to have it aligned in the center. And we'll say copyright and copy 2021 Timothy Unkert, all rights reserved. And we'll copy this and then go here, uh, page on down to the solution, paste that, go here, page on down to this, or page on down to the bottom of the page, not the solution, and paste that. Let's go back up here for the Spanish, go to the top, uh, do an emit abbreviation. We'll exit the closing body tag and the closing HTML tag, go to the bottom here, paste it, page right back up to the top here. And we're going to call this something like 100 factorial problems, 100 hard factorial problems, Spanish version. And then we've got to do our styling. So we'll do a styling of a body with margin left 0.75 inches and then margin right the same thing. We'll have a paragraph. Paragraph font size will be, let's just stick with 1.2 rem. We'll also do our heading twos. We will do a font size of 1.4. Save that. And oh, I have a set of format on save, so okay. Uh, when I do Control S, when it just auto saves, it doesn't format. Okay, so that's good for that one. Let's go to the solution one. Let's page up to the top. Do our emit. We'll just X these, page down to the bottom, paste them, page back up to the top. Oh, I may need to do, yeah. There's one more thing I need to do with the Spanish. I'm kind of jumping around here, but I need to do the pre-formatting. All right, so I have to have nombre for name. Go here, fecha for date, and then maestra, teacher, I believe, and then periodo for period. And let's open this up and see how it looks. So close this, divisibility problems, close that, close that, close that. Um, and we're going to documents, into Python. We're going to go into Factorials, and we're going to do the Spanish one. And okay, so just check. Uh, Add like two to that one. Okay, that's good. Now we'll go here, sorry, here, and just tab twice and refresh. Um, okay, so now, yeah, yeah, so we got it, yeah. Okay, so we're going to print this, and we're going to save as PDF, and we're going to go to Python, into our factorials, and create a folder. We'll call it 100 hard factorial problems in English and Spanish. Okay, and we'll go and save that. Okay, so that one is done. So now back to our solutions. So we'll say 100 hard factorial problems solutions, and do style body tag. We'll have a margin left of 0.75 inches and a margin right of the same. And then in here, we're going to have H2 font size of 1.4 rem, and a paragraph with a font size of 1.2 rem. Create those. I think that one will be good to go. Let's open that one. Yeah. Okay. Let's print it, and we'll save it. Good. Okay. Last one before I end the stream. Um, Page up, and we'll call this 100 hard factorial problems, uh, English version. And I'll go create a style tag here. Body, we're going to have a margin left of 0.75 inches and a margin right of also 0.75 inches. Our heading 2 is going to be a font size of 1.4 rem, and our paragraph is going to be a font size of 1.2 rem. Here we're going to do a pre-tag. In the pre-tag, we'll have our name, the date, the teacher, and the period. Okay, and let's open this file and just see what it looks like. Um, that I want to do just factorials. Open it. Okay, maybe put two, three more there, two more there, maybe something like that. Um, Just do one more here, and then place that back one. Okay, and then do that. Okay. And now let's print that. And yeah, print's all right. The formatting, yeah, I really want to period, make it one more there. Um, Print. Okay, now it's looking good. All right, so we'll save this, uh, save it as is, go back into our folder, and we've got through files, so we can just now compress to a zip file. That's ready to go up to Teacher Pay Teachers as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'll probably put links to those worksheets later today or tomorrow. Thank you for watching, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube. If you are on YouTube and you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I'll also leave my social links in the links below. If you're on Twitch, please follow me on Twitch. It'd be very much appreciated. And I thank you for watching. It looks like when I'm starting these streams, I was aiming for 5:15 Mountain Standard Time, which is 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Colorado, so I'm Mountain Standard Time. I'm getting up at 5, but it's more like 5:25 to 5:30 that I think I'll get started. So I think I'm going to be doing like 7:30 to like or 5:30 Mountain Standard Time to about 7:30 or 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. It's now 7:28 Mountain Standard Time. Anyway, so I'm going to try and put up my schedule, try and do it Monday through Friday. I do enjoy doing this. It's fun. And it kind of starts the day. If you watch the first 10 minutes of the stream, it's kind of like I'm getting going. So it's fun once I get going. And I thank you for watching, and I hope you guys are tuning into the next one. If you have any suggestions on videos to do, please, you know, shoot a comment, or you can email me on YouTube. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one.